All right. Are we live?
I don't know. You're the one right now.
It says we're live, so.
Okay, well, I'm gonna trust you on that. Welcome in. Blues Uprise Postgame show. Some internet lagged out. Eric is running this stream, so we have no graphics for it, but we'll still be able to break down the game. When I have internet issues, a lot of times the Skype call is completely fine, but I can't stream. I don't know why. I don't know how that works, but yeah. So we'll do the best I can. I might lag out. Is that your audio playing, Eric?
I'm just checking
I
it
don't
on.
know why. I don't know how that works. But, yeah, so I'll do the best I can.
Sorry.
I might lag out.
What is going on?
Is that your audio playing, Eric? You good?
Yeah, it just won't mute.
Oh, it was that your computer? Yeah.
It's on my phone trying to
Got you.
make sure everything's set up correctly, and so I can read chat. But
Got you.
I think we're good.
Yeah, no, we're fine. So yeah, I might lag out or something. But if that happens, Eric can just go on his own since he's running it. So this is something that's happened occasionally during the day. For some reason, it doesn't happen at night. It's only usually during the day. I haven't really had any lag issues in a while, but that would not cooperate with me today. So that is kind of the situation we're in. The quality is not going to be as good, but you guys are just going to have to make do because that's what we're having to do, when there's nothing we can do about it. So, if my audio is sus, I can just dip out if everybody's going to complain about me being on stream. Like you can Eric run it solo if you guys think that's my audio's. Eric, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. It's just kind of going in and out. But I don't know. It seems fine on the stream. I mean, it's not as good as it normally is, but
yeah, I mean, it's just a makeshift.
Yeah.
It's just gonna be a makeshift stream thrown together. I don't know. It's probably not gonna be as long as normal one. We'll see if my internet chills out. That would be pretty cool. So yeah, Blazers end up losing today by score 125 to 104. This is their first game without CJ McCollum, and it did not look good on either side of the basketball. They lose to a Spurs team that is playing solid basketball this year, but very disappointing performance from the Portland Trailblazers, especially in the fourth quarter, where they got outscored 38 to 22. The Spurs being led by four guys, really, they had four guys who scored 20 points for them. They had 22 from LaMarcus Aldridge, 20 from DeMar DeRozan, 21 from Patty Mills, and 21 from Rudy Gay, who crushed the Blazers down the stretch with made bucket after made bucket, and the Blazers could do nothing to stop him. The Blazers were led by Damian Lillard, who had 35 points, and Rodney Hood, who had a 21-point effort, which was good to see. It's really the one positive from this game, and we'll touch on that. We're not going to run through every player. We don't have graphics and whatnot, but we'll just touch on some general things, and that's what this stream is going to be. So, Eric, would you want to start? Let me thank Tom Fisher, aka Trailblazer 18, with a $10 donation. He says, "Use this to upgrade your Wi-Fi plan. Keep up the great work." I mean, I don't even use the Wi-Fi, man. I'm hardwired and everything, so it's just Comcast being Comcast. That's just it's on their end. It's not anything I'm doing wrong. Like, I've tried everything. So appreciate the donation, though, man. Good to see you in here.
Stop, man. Let's stop. Just.
So, what do you want to touch on first from this game, Eric?
Let's talk about the only positive thing from this game in my mind, and that is Rodney Hood maybe being back, and he had a great first run with the starters. His shot looked good. His threes still look a little flat, but overall, it was really good to see Hood get some quality shots and to see them go down, and hopefully that's something he can build upon for future games.
Yeah, so going into tonight, let me look this up because I'm curious. I don't even think he had 21 points total on the season before going into. I said tonight, well, today, this afternoon.
Yeah.
Going into this game, he had 18 points in 11 games, and he had 21 in this one game. So more than doubled his scoring output. So maybe starting him was the right move to get him going because he looked like old Rodney Hood today, and it was good to see.
Yeah, and you kind of figured that. See, this is what I wanted to talk to you about. I don't know if you want to just get right into it.
Yeah, just get right into it. We're just gonna hit fast and hard, and then be done.
So, at what point is it like a detriment to someone who has maybe earned that spot versus getting someone else going? Because we saw Gary Trent have a very bad game. I think he only played about 23 minutes in this one, which to me is inexcusable with CJ being out to not see him get at least 30 minutes. And in my mind, I'm so torn on this because Hood, like, it was the right move to probably start him for him personally to get going, and that's important for the team. But I also feel like it kind of sends the wrong message to someone like Gary, who has worked his butt off for the last couple of years to really improve his game, and to not get that reward of CJ's down, we need a starting shooting guard, he's a shooting guard. Like, for him not to get that, I hope that doesn't like lose him mentally a little bit in terms of what he can do for this team.
I mean, it shouldn't. You're talking about what, maybe a week and a half absence, a 6-game stretch where he stays in the same role he was before. If he loses himself mentally because of that, then I feel like he's far weaker mentally than I think he actually is. I mean, it's not like his role is being reduced or anything. I mean, he only played 21 minutes tonight, but that's generally is around 25, 26 minutes a game. So it's not like his role is being reduced or anything. Hood is getting the chance, and Hood stepped up and played well. I do think Trent should be getting more than 21 minutes. I don't think Simon should be getting anything except for the backup point guard minutes with CJ out. Dame played 36 minutes. Simon should only had the remaining 12 at point guard. Simon's played 15 minutes. I like Nas getting a little bit of a run, but I mean, I don't know, like Trent deserves with CJ out at least 30 minutes a game. So I agree on that part, but I don't think it's like something that's should be risking his mental state, so to say.
Well, I just don't like the optics of. I mean, he had a good game last game. Was great down the stretch. Hit some big shots, and then to not only like come in this game, but like to not even. I don't know. I felt like that combined with the game he only played 6 minutes, and Stott says, "Oh, sometimes I'm going to choose Simons over him." Like I feel like Trent's development is beyond like messing with him like that, and I don't like the fact that we're kind of messing with him, despite how hard he seemingly works to get better and all that stuff.
The 6-minute thing is different than not starting him today, though. Like, I agree on the 6-minute thing. There's no reason he should have ever played 6 minutes in a game. But not starting him and starting a guy who was the starter last year, and Rodney Hood stepped up and played well, and you're trying to get him going. Like, I don't think it's bad optics or anything. Like, it's not like they're starting Kelvin Clemens over him. They're starting the guy who hasn't played well this year, but that they're trying to get back, into the swing of things, and who started last year. And I bet you it was probably, I bet you it's probably pitched as, maybe a way to get Rodney Hood going and get Rodney Hood looks and get Rodney Hood comfortable. So if Gary Trent Jr. sees that, I don't think it's a problem. I don't think it's a bad optics thing. I don't think it's a big issue.
Going into the game, I completely agree with you, and obviously getting Hood going is probably the right thing to do, but for Trent to on top of that, only get 21 minutes, that's what's like troubling to me. And I know like maybe game plan or game flow dictated that, but like because Trent didn't play well at all tonight. I just like if you're gonna do that, at least give Trent his 30 minutes still, like let him be a big part of the offense. But my thing with Trent, like, because I have people telling me, like, what about needing him in the second unit? Well, our second unit like sucked tonight, and we don't get Trent good shots in the second unit anyway. Usually, when he makes shots, it's like last game. At the end of the game, he was playing with the closing unit. It wasn't when he wasn't scoring much when he was with the bench unit, and that's typically a theme for him. Like in the bubble, Dame was playing major minutes, so there wasn't like a lot of time where he was playing with a bench unit and wasn't really. We had a depleted roster too, so like I don't feel like he gets good shots with the bench either. So like you could make the case maybe that if we wanted to get Hood going, maybe we should have replaced someone else in the starting lineup and had Trent start both of them maybe. Because none of the units are playing extremely well together. So like, why not just keep trying to find a mix that works for everybody? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, you have two guys that, like Rodney Hood, if he's back in how he was playing last year, if he gets back to that point, he's a starting caliber player. Gary Trent Jr. is a starting caliber player. You know what I mean? Like, and you can only start one of them with CJ out and CJ back. Both of them are coming off the bench. We have depth. So I don't know. Like, it's just not something that I think is like a big issue. It's I don't think like Trent's a starting caliber player, but we have more than 5 starting caliber players on the team, in my opinion. So it's not like every starting caliber player is entitled to step up and start if one guy gets injured, if that makes sense. So I don't know. I don't know. If it was something where like they started Nas or they started Simons or something like that, then I would agree with your sentiment a little bit more. But when it's a guy like Rodney who was starting last year, and part of it is probably just trying to get him comfortable and in flow and get him going, it's acceptable. That's how I look at it.
Yeah. I just think, if you're going to do that, make sure you take care of Trent, too, on the backside of that and fulfill that out. Because now Trent's thinking after the game, like, not only did I not get the start, which I probably earned based on play performance this year so far, but on top of that, I only played 21 minutes and CJ wasn't even in the game. Like, I would be mad if I was Trent as a player tonight that I kind of got jacked around, but yeah, like, I mean, that's part of team basketball.
I don't think it's jacked around, man. If he's mad about this, like, I understand him being mad about the 6 minutes thing, but I don't know. If he's like mad about Rodney Hood getting the start at the 2 guard and place CJ when CJ's going to be out, hopefully only 7 games or so, then it's not really. I don't know. It's just like you're still getting heavy minutes. And if you played well, you would have ended the game tonight. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, if this was a close game and you played well, you ended the game, which is just as important. You've had a guy like Melo have to swallow the pill and come off the bench when he has a ton of pride and wants to start. It's like, I don't know. I don't think it's yanking Gary Trent Jr. around. I don't think it's something that he should be upset over.
He only came back with like 5 or 6 minutes left when the game had gotten out of hand a little bit. So at that point, he had only had 17 minutes in the game, and that's I don't know. I mean,
that part of it, you could talk about like the way he was used tonight, and he didn't play enough tonight. That's different. That's a different conversation than him being started or not. So
yeah, but it's not just that's what I'm saying. It's not about the starting stuff. Like I said, obviously Hood got going tonight. That's probably the right move, but you could also like give Trent a reward of getting an opportunity to see a major boost in minutes with CJ being out, and I don't feel like so not only did he not start, but he didn't get that either. So I don't know. It could have just been like one game, like I said, and yeah.
Yeah, so People's Mix say, hey, Kevin Reeves, like, I want to segue that. We'll kind of touch on multiple different topics here. I'll probably engage with that a little bit more in this stream just because it's less of a like a planned schedule with this. But he says, my view on this game is the awful rebounding by Giles And game plus and losing shooters not helping the biggest rebound. That's your first takeaway from this game is Harry Giles not rebounding well enough. That seems like you got a vendetta against him if that is your first takeaway from this game. That's kind of silly, but we can touch on Giles a little bit later. We can touch on Giles now if you want to.
Yeah, let's just go ahead and touch on him. Just wing it at this point. Giles was pretty bad tonight. He had one good hustle play. Other than that, he pretty much got abused on the boards. I agree with that. Our second unit got destroyed all around. But yeah, like no one on our team could rebound tonight. We struggled rebounding even with the starters in. So yeah, rebounding was
a lot of those rebounds I saw was like he would get switched out onto a guard, and then Pirtle would get the rebound underneath, or he would be battling for the rebound, and nobody else would be crashing the boards with him, and he'd be having to deal with multiple switches. I don't think he got crushed on the boards tonight. I don't agree with that. They rebounded well with him in the game. Like, okay, I just want to touch on the Giles. Just people... There's people out there that want to make it out like Giles is just absolute trash and there's nothing Sauce can do, and it's like somehow Olshay's fault, which is just the general narrative that a lot of people want to follow, and it's what they followed last year, even though all the issues we saw last year, we improved the personnel and those issues still exist. But you're talking about like, oh, wow, here Giles... I'm not you. Other people I see on Twitter talking about how Harry Giles is not looking good offensively, but he is in the game with a 5-man unit that just lacks cohesion and any sort of plan on offense, any sort of sets that get him in a good spot to succeed. It's literally like such a just the whole unit, the whole bench unit is just playing so wonky and so bad without Dame and CJ on the floor that I don't see how like anybody could sit there and look at Giles playing 15 minutes a night and be 1 for 2 and be like, yeah, he's just trash, man. See, I told you he can't play. I don't understand that. Like you're talking about a guy in a lineup that's just absolute garbage. Right?
Here's my thing. The rebounding, if you're constantly out of position on defense, constantly missing rotations, constantly slow to react to kick out passes, stuff like that, you're always going to be in bad rebounding positions as well. So it's easy for a guy like Podol who crashes the board hard to like sneak in there and get rebounds when there's no one close enough to get a body on him when the shot goes up. And so, like, this goes back to our schemes, and, like, I don't know what the heck we were doing. Like, it seemed to me like our plan was, we're just going to win or lose this game if Aldridge can hit jump shots at the beginning of the game. Like, because we were just giving him wide open after wide open jump shot. And, like, Stotts coached Aldridge for 3 years. He should have some idea of how to stop him or what he likes to do on offense and try to take him out of his comfort zone. But I didn't feel like we did that at all. And then, you got some vets that get hot because they get open shots. And then towards the end of the game, they're feeling it. So they hit tough shots when they are contested. But yeah, the offensive rebounding by the Spurs was probably the difference in this game. And it's not blamed on any one person. Like I said, it was just as bad with Cantor in there as it was with Giles. I mean, we had a play where we had 2 people in position to get a rebound, and they both knocked it to a Spurs player, and then they kicked it out and got a 3. It's like we can't even secure a rebound when we have positioning, let alone when we don't. But yeah.
I mean, like, here's, bro, I want to keep this on Giles, man, because it seems like people are starting to scapegoat him because a lot of people wanted to see him play and were kind of frustrated at Stotts for not, giving him more of a chance earlier on in the season. And now it's like people want to make it out like, oh, well, Stotts didn't give him a chance because he sucks. So you guys were wrong. Like, that's the narrative I feel like some people are having. And it's like, and I saw this, I saw somebody like kind of say this point, somebody else during this game. You have people sitting here saying, Devin Vassell was getting to the ball over Giles, man. It's sad. How's that Giles' fault? Devin Vassell is usually not his matchup. Where's the box outs from the wings? Where's the help on the boards from the forwards? Like you got Giles battling with Pirtle, right? Locked up with Pirtle, and then Vassell is crashing in, and nobody's putting a body on him, and he's getting offensive rebounds. That's not Giles's fault at all. Like that's whoever was guarding Vassell for not boxing out, which was a big problem in this game.
Yep, and that's Shaggy Squid brings up a good point. Like, instead of going small when we're getting out rebounded, why don't we try like a bigger lineup instead and see if that can help us on the boards? Like, put Giles and Cantor in there together, see if they can crash the boards. And I know.
What's funny is like, yeah, I was thinking that, right? And Cantor was in the game with like 6 minutes left, and what happened? Cantor gets taken out. They put Rubbo at 5, and then Pirtle immediately gets a putback.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I don't get that. I would love to see a Cam and Giles lineup, just see what that looks like.
But, yeah, this goes down to the whole, like, our closeouts are terrible on shooters, our box outs are terrible. Like, these are all, like, correctable things that if you watched film the right way, would get exposed in a film room, and you would work on those in practice and make sure those don't happen. And I've said this time and time again, if you get clowned enough on film missing a box out, you're going to work your butt off to not get put in that position where you're watching film as a team and getting called out in front of the whole team and staff about missing box outs continuously. And if it becomes a problem to where you still don't fix it, then you shouldn't be playing in this game. Like, if you can't simply box out or close out on a shooter quickly. And the problem is we don't really ever hold anyone accountable enough to fix any of that stuff. I mean, how many times did we talk about boxing out last year? How many times have we talked about poor closeouts and rotations over the last 3 years, even before we even had a show? Like, these are issues that are correctable if they're a point of emphasis by the coaching staff, and they obviously are not.
Yeah, so, I mean, a lot of the same issues, But we don't have any leeway to have these issues because we don't have Nurkic or CJ. Some people will say, oh, well, what do you expect them to do? They don't have Nurkic and CJ. Well, these issues existed before and they still exist now. They aren't dependent on having Nurkic or CJ. And they can be fixed without Nurkic and CJ. The problem is now we're going to be even worse with these issues because we don't have the talent to overcome it. But it's not the talent that or the lack thereof that is causing these issues in the first place. So these issues are controllable, not personnel based. That was the entire discussion last year, and that is the entire discussion right now with a lot of the issues this team is facing before Nurkic and CJ were out, and now with them out.
Yep. And yeah, I mean, the Spurs are a decent team. It's just I just don't like the way we're playing offense too. Like, even if you just ignore the defensive end, like, we don't have CJ, so we're without one of our shot creators and someone who can create offense for other people, and we have no kind of structure, no kind of plays. The Spurs ran a play where DeRozan started on the opposite side, and he like went through, like, zigzag through a couple screens and came out on the block and got the ball and just had an easy, like, 5-foot turnaround jumper, like, right in his sweet zone. And like that kind of performance, like those kind of plays, you watch that on another team and you're just like, wow, that would be amazing to see that more than like once every 10 games with the Blazers.
Yeah. So, I mean, overall, just disappointing game, but I'm not entirely shocked. Here's another game where they're just kind of trying to claw from behind almost the entire game. Our biggest lead tonight. Let me find it. Our biggest lead tonight was 4. Their biggest lead tonight was 22. That's the 5th straight game we've been down 16 or more points. That's not good. And it's like, I have people say, man, that's just how the NBA is today, man. It's like, no, the NBA is not where a team trying to hold itself to contender status is just going to be down 16 plus points to mediocre teams 5 games in a row. You know what I mean? Like it's the enabling and the writing off of a lot of the issues with just excuses like that is just I saw it on Twitter today, and it's just it's mind-boggling, man. It's like no, this isn't. It's not okay that the Blazers keep getting down in these games. It's not okay that they keep getting down 16 plus points against inferior. I mean, I guess the Spurs tonight probably aren't an inferior team with McCollum and Nurkic out, but the 4 previous to this were inferior lineups than we had on the floor. So yeah, it's. I mean, the problems I think are obvious, and some people want to deny them. We will continue to talk about them. We will continue to point them out. But overall, the Portland Trailblazers just in a tough spot right now, and they're going to have to try and make do with missing their second and third best player.
Well, too, we saw it. Obviously, the game plan, the first like 3 or 4 plays was to get Rodney going, right? We had some sets like kind of designed to get him like an ISO or a post up or a 3-point shot. Like, where was that the rest of the game? Like then Rodney doesn't touch the ball for like 5 straight possessions, and we brick a bunch of shots. And it's like, okay, when Rodney's hot, you got to get him the ball. That guy like feeds off of making a shot and doing that kind of stuff. So like, if he was gonna have a good game, just like keep getting him the ball. Like I felt like we kind of went away from him after he makes his first 3 shots. And I would have liked to seen them go back to him a little bit sooner. And he actually was bringing the ball up a little bit. We actually saw Melo bring the ball up a little bit tonight. But those were with Dame in the lineup, so that didn't really make a lot of sense to me. But, like, if you're going to have Hood handle the ball, maybe make him the backup point guard or something, or let him do that kind of thing. I don't know. They just need to figure something out, because like, you can't just throw Simons in and expect the offense to like work out when no one knows. They have nothing to do other than give Melo the ball, and a couple of times he was pushed out to like 15 to 20 feet and was forced to take tough shots. He probably could have passed out of some of those, but like it doesn't matter. Like, we could have better personnel out there, but it's not really going to matter until we have some sort of structure on what to do when that lineup's out there. And I just wish we'd at least try something different instead of keep on throwing these guys into the same situation and expecting different results.
Yeah. So, I mean, but Rodney Hood getting going is hopefully a good sign. Once CJ's back, that would be very, the way he played tonight would be very helpful on a bench lineup that has played pretty stagnant basketball this year. So hopefully this is a kind of a I don't know. Like, I don't know what you want to call it, but like the game that gets him on a better trajectory and playing better basketball and gives him the confidence he needs.
And People's Mix says, why did Neil say y'all had a backup point guard? LOL, y'all don't. Our backup point guard is CJ McCollum. And yeah, he wasn't there tonight, and that's magnified that we don't have another backup when he's not out there.
Yeah, we don't need frickin' Derrick Rose, man. Like Derrick. Oh my god, I'm not even gonna discuss that, but it's just so silly. And I've discussed that whole conversation millions of times. CJ McCollum is the backup point guard, and he's been doing a fine job in that role. We don't need to downsize even more and cut Gary Trent Jr.'s minutes in order to play Derrick Rose. That's a terrible idea. So I don't know. What do you want to touch on next?
Well, CJ's going to be reevaluated in a week. If he's only out like a week or two, I think you can get away with something like maybe not even picking someone up. If he's going to be out at like 4 to 6 weeks or something, I'm just saying it. I have no idea like how long he's going to end up being out. So if he ends up being out like that, I think we do need to bring in not necessarily a vet, but just someone that can maybe kind of push Simons a little bit, or that can at least just come in and set up an offense and do something. But if we're not running an offense, what is that person going to do anyway? So if it's short term, I don't think we really need that still. But
yeah. So shout out for the donation. What currency is that symbol? I need to study more.
Is that the euro?
Is that the yeah? That is euro. I was literally looking it up. Shout out to Ro for the €10 donation. He says, first time this season I can watch you guys live. Thank you for all the game breakdown. Today's loss was really frustrating. Cool that you're able to catch us live. Sorry we don't got the graphics up or anything, and the stream was kind of scuffed, and this game was even worse. But I appreciate you being in here, man, and I appreciate the donation.
Yep. Trade for Ricky Rubio. Shervin, who are we trading to get Ricky Rubio? What's your great idea there?
And why? I just we talked about this, bro. It's like I can tell the people that like actually listen to some of my mailbags. It's like, why would we trade for Ricky Rubio to cut Gary Trent Jr.'s minutes? Why would we play Ricky Rubio over Gary Trent Jr.? Ricky Rubio is not going to help with our stagnant offense. Like, cool, Ricky Rubio creating one-on-one. Sounds amazing. You know, like that's what our bench lineup is, and it's not because of who is the backup point guard is. It's because of the way the system is. It's not because we don't have a Ricky Rubio or we don't have a Derrick Rose. So that whole argument just boggles my mind. And then Ricky Rubio's making $19 million. Like, what? You're gonna trade Rocco and Derrick Jones Jr. for him? The backup point guard stuff just never makes sense, and it's I don't know why people are throwing that stuff out there right now.
It's still almost 3 weeks until we can trade anyone that was signed in the offseason, so we can't trade Hood, we can't trade Derrick Jones, we can't trade or we could trade Rocco, I guess, but those kind of guys we can't trade right now, so you're really limited on who you can trade and what you can bring back, because I mean we're playing like a 500 team, and we're lucky to even be above 500 right now in my opinion, but like they're not going to go in the tax for that, so like the Collins for PJ Tucker or whatever, yeah, that might work in a trade machine, but we'd be going into the tax to do so. We'd probably have to give up picks and reduce our protection on the pick we already owe Houston. Like that kind of stuff is not going to happen. We don't have the assets or the contracts to do that. And when you have Melo and Rocco already playing the 4, you have a guy, you have spot, like you don't have a lot of time for a Tucker, and I know he can play center, but then we're going to be stuck in the same situation we are now, where we're not rebounding well if we're playing smaller lineups and stuff like that. So yeah, it's just, we're not going to make a trade. I just don't see it unless it's for someone making the minimum, and it's like basically a freebie type trade, like a Shabazz Napier or Mo Harkless type, where another team just wants to ditch a player and they just happen to make enough money to slide into the money we have under the tax. But other than that, I expect any moves to just be signing someone through free agency.
Yeah. So, I don't know, there's no point to even discuss it. Maybe we go and sign somebody, but that's the only way it's going to happen. It's probably not going to be somebody who even plays over Anthony Simons, so it's probably not going to be anything notable. So, yeah, guys, you got Isaac tossing out Andre Miller. I mean, if we're that desperate, sure, let's go bring in Andre Miller.
A bunch of people are saying Isaiah Thomas. What part of our defense thinks it would be a good idea to bring in Isaiah Thomas? Our defense absolutely sucks. It is terrible. Simons actually did well on defense tonight, I thought. Like, I thought he actually played decent defense. But, like, you want our defense to get worse? Like, come on.
Wait, Isaiah Thomas? Do you guys watch this team? We're undersized and suck defensively, and you want to bring in maybe the worst defensive guard that would be in the league, who's 5'9"? That's a terrible idea. Ever since his hip injury, Isaiah Thomas has not been old Isaiah Thomas. He's literally like, I don't know. You look at his last 3 seasons, right? 3 years ago, 37% from the field, 29% from three. 2 years ago, 34% from the field, 28% from three. Last year, 40% or 41% from the field, 41% from three. Right, but he's a career 36% three-point shooter, so the 41% is probably an aberration. So he's not even good offensively. He's horribly inefficient. He's not a good playmaker for a point guard whatsoever in terms of like passing the ball. And he's a horrible, horrible, horrible defender. People want him because of name recognition, and it just makes absolutely no sense. Isaiah Thomas is the last guy. I would rather bring in Andre Miller than Isaiah Thomas. That's the last guy I want to bring in as a backup point guard. And I'm an Isaiah Thomas fan because I'm not as much of a Husky fan as I used to be, but I used to be a huge Husky fan. And he played at the University of Washington, and he's he's from Washington State. And he has a cool backstory and all that. So I'm an Isaiah Thomas fan. Like, don't get it wrong, but that's just the truth. Like, he's not good, and he's not NBA worthy anymore. Like, his issues, his flaws, would be terrible to bring into this team. So yeah, I'm not on board with that.
Yeah, might as well get Jamal Crawford, right?
You just bring back the whole crew, man. The whole crew. All the old school big name guys just have that name recognition. Let's get J.R. Smith while we're at it.
He was good in Boston, Carlos, before his hip injury, and he kind of put on some weight, and he's not as explosive as he was.
Hip injuries are very underrated in terms of how bad they could be for players. Hips are very important when it comes to basketball players. It's an underrated thing. And that hip injury completely changed them.
And just for the record, Shervin, I can't use my computer because I'm running the feed right now, and it ruins Tori's feed if that. So I did some research on that, but I can't bring up the document right now. I'm sorry.
Welcome to my world. Yeah. When I don't have two screens, but yeah. So if anybody, like, people were talking about my mic earlier in my screen, it's because my mic is being fed through Skype instead of straight into the stream. So like Skype reduces the quality of like the video and the audio. So if Eric's mic and video are probably a little better than normal, and mine are probably a little worse, it's because Eric's running the stream. If you guys are just tuning in, my internet was in the gutter, so I had Eric set up the stream because the Skype call was still fine, but for some reason I couldn't stream. The internet wasn't in a good enough state, so Eric's running the stream on his end.
And so Shervin's just calling me out for not providing suggestions if CJ is out for a long time. Okay, so my suggestion, this is irrelevant now, but we still have a two-way contract. We could have signed Mason Jones. We could have signed any number of undrafted rookie free agents to that two-way contract. And those are guys who are like playing minutes now and actually showing something as a rookie on two-way contracts on other teams. We could have had that instead of signing Dame's cousin to a contract. So that I will absolutely kill Olshey for. I don't feel like he used those spots properly. We still have one available that we could sign one of those guys, but most of the good ones have been taken by now. And then on top of that, it looks like the NBA is possibly going to add a third two-way contract spot for teams that are having issues right now. So we probably won't use that either, but we should have taken advantage of that and had a backup point guard learning the system from day one, and they could have maybe stepped in these situations. But the team was not willing to give up on Anthony Simons yet, and I feel like we are just absolutely destroying Simons' career. If he had any chance of being successful, I feel like he's not going to achieve that in this offense, and it's we might as well trade him, I think, at this point, if we're not going to use him, right?
Mm-hmm. Since we're just talking about roster acquisitions, Isaac brought up Kevin Porter Jr. I do not want that guy on this team. I do not want to. That guy has legitimate issues. I don't want him on the team. Plain simple. If you don't know the issues he's had, look him up. Just look him up.
Well, that's simple. Probably rightfully so. That's not the type of guy that Olshey has gone after in the past. So
there's a reason Cleveland is willing to cut him. He's a talented player.
He's good too. Yeah, he's good.
So it should tell you something that Cleveland is willing to just outright cut him. And they knew he had red flags coming to the draft. That's why he fell to the 30th pick a couple of drafts ago. And the Cavs were willing to take on those red flags, and now they're not. People's Mix. Do you even know who their GM is? What are you talking about, man? I don't understand.
But yeah, he's not a point guard anyway, so it's not.
Yeah, not
going to help.
I just saw Blazer fans be like, "Oh,
it's not Danny Ferry."
Olshey, you better jump on it. You better jump on it. Kevin Porter Jr. said that. Oh, I thought you were saying that. Okay, yeah. That's. I don't know. What, he's racist against his own race? I don't understand. I don't understand that. But yeah, Kevin Porter Jr. I mean, he was arrested for weapons charges. He punched a woman in the face. He just threw a tantrum and started throwing food in the locker room because he got his locker moved. There's some other stuff on top of that. Just not the type of guy you want on the team.
He equated his GM to owning slaves, I guess.
Yeah.
Is the way to put it. Yeah, it's just, I don't
know.
No
thank you to him. No thank you to him. So, I don't know. What else do you want to touch on from this game?
I was pleasantly surprised to see Little get a shot in the first half. He didn't play in the second half until the scrub time when the game was out of hand. But I'm glad he got an opportunity. Didn't really do much in his minutes there, but
I mean, he hasn't really had any minutes. Yeah. Here's the thing. With guys like Giles and guys like Little, man, it's you're talking about young players that, if they're playing their first meaningful minutes of the season, basically, they're probably not going to play anywhere near as well as if they got a consistent chance.
Mm-hmm.
And they weren't looking over their shoulder oh, I can't make a mistake or I'm getting yanked. So people that take a 9-minute sample from Nasir Little today and say, see, that's why all the fans who want him to play, see, he didn't do anything. And people who hate on Giles for not being super productive in 10 minutes or 15 minutes when he's only played maybe 40 meaningful minutes on the season. You gotta give these guys more of a chance. They need a consistent opportunity if you want to expect them to perform at a decently high level. You're talking about young guys getting their first meaningful minutes of the season. They're probably not going to do too well at the start, especially if they feel like the coaching staff doesn't have total confidence in them, and they might get yanked if they make a mistake. So, that's why I hate it when people give guys like that a hard time.
And Block Boy, the Kings signed Hassan Whiteside instead of Giles. So, are you really gonna say they're the modern franchise you want to, or the epitome of a franchise you want to say? Oh, they didn't re-sign him, so he must be bad.
Since when do we put stock in Vlade Divac's GM decisions? That dude was terrible. Since when do his GM decisions mean something legitimate? You were talking about the dude who drafted Marvin Bagley over Luka Doncic. I don't hear people saying, see, man, that's why he drafted Marvin Bagley over Luka Doncic, right? No, it's, Vlade Divac is an idiot for drafting Bagley over Doncic. But when it fits the narrative, it's, see, that's why they didn't pick up his option, man. He sucks.
And I'll say the same thing that I've been saying about Melo at times. It's we're blaming like our bench guys for stuff that's happening like throughout the game. That's not even when the bench unit's necessarily in, and our bench unit got destroyed tonight, but like our starters didn't play well either. It's like, I don't know, it's like this team is not prepared. It's not, the effort level isn't there. This is a problem with the entire team and the way that they're coached and the way that they perform and the way that they don't function as a unit and rely on certain individuals to make up for that because they're so talented and so good that they can get away with it sometimes. And to blame anyone other than the person that is allowing for that to happen, which is Coach Stotts, is, in my mind, like, I don't know, like, because we can talk about this all day about Simon sucking, whether Melo's good or not, whether we're using him right, whether we're using Hood right, whether he should start or not. But none of this matters if the coach doesn't have all 5 players on the same page and is running some sort of scheme that will help us win, instead of having to fight not only another opponent, but we're trying to like fight to get good, like even a quality shot on possessions. Like, we have to work so hard to even get a good look most possessions, and that you just can't keep that up for the course of a game and expect to not have situations where the other team just hits a couple threes and all of a sudden it's like we're down by 10 and like we're like screwed, because like we can't just keep doing this over and over again and relying on someone like Dame and when CJ's in there, him to save us. But we saw tonight we didn't have CJ, and we can't run the CJ save us play when CJ's not there, so we have to rely on Dame to do it the whole game, and he can't play 48 minutes, nor should he have to. And so until any of this changes, it's just gonna the focus on the role players, in my opinion, won't really matter. I mean, I could sit here and devise a few ways that we could be using all these players better, but it's not going to happen, so it doesn't really matter to discuss it any deeper than that, in my opinion.
Yep, I agree. Sorry, I'm just reading chat.
Yeah.
I'm reading chat while I have the same guy that we've had to tell many, many times, say, don't ignore chat, and we've had to tell. Okay. Danny, every time you say that from now on, I'm putting you in a 5-minute timeout because we've talked to you about this, so there's no excuse for you to keep coming in without. You haven't even been in here. You haven't even been saying nothing, and now you're going to come in here and tell us not to ignore chat. We've been telling you about this, so this is the last time I'm ever going to address it on air. Every time you say it, it's a 5-minute ban.
Well, next time we should just ban him, because...
No, I'm not going to permanently ban him. Every time you do it, it's just a 5-minute ban, because we literally talked about this multiple times, my guy. Like,
we've been talking to chat the last, like, half an hour. I don't get it. Like,
it's
we're
ignoring chat.
I've literally been reading chat and interacting with people's questions and talks. Like, so you're just full of crap, my man. Stop it.
Yeah, so I mean, just 5-minute mods. If you see Danny P, tell us, come in here and say, don't ignore chat, guys. Come on, man. Like that type of stuff. Just feel free to give him a 5-minute ban every time you see that. So, yeah. I don't know. What else do you want to touch on? We're just kind of winging it right now.
I thought the Spurs played well. They looked like a well-coached team. Obviously, made shots when it mattered. Easy to do when you kick out to a three-point shooter and they're wide open. But they made them when it mattered, and they kicked our butts today.
Yeah. Bro, you know what was triggering me all game?
What's that?
Vassal.
Oh, yeah, I saw your tweet about that.
Dude, learn how to pronunciate names. You had Hurd and Lamar, or you had Hurd and Jordan Kent saying Vassal all game long.
I was wondering if I was maybe pronouncing it wrong, so I went back and looked at some videos and stuff. But I remembered like talking about that before his draft profile that we did, and I was like, what? Because it's everything I heard was pronounced Vassell, but I don't know.
Yeah, and I mean, let's just touch on this. I don't know. I'm not really entertained by the Blazers broadcast this year, and I don't know. I think they kind of threw Lamar, or God, why I keep saying Lamar? I think they threw Jordan Kent into the deep end,
Yeah.
and they just threw him into the deep end, into like the dude has like minimal play-by-play commentating experience. Actually, I don't think he has any. What play-by-play commentating did he do before this, other than the bubble?
He didn't have any other than I think he did some like esports events or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. And all of a sudden he's the play-by-play guy for an NBA team.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, cut them costs, but you're throwing this guy in on the deep end, and I don't think he's been. I just haven't liked his commentary. Maybe other people have. I just haven't really enjoyed his play-by-play thing. But it's not even like to criticize him. It's like the dude has no experience. You know what I mean? Like anybody, you put anybody in that role with no experience, and they're not going to do that well of a job, because normally it's like you gain experience through like lower levels of doing commentary, and then you're ready to make the jump to the NBA and be a play-by-play guy. And those are rare roles. There's only 30 in the league. So I don't know. It's like you take a 25-year-old guy that's never played basketball before and just toss him to an NBA game. It's like the dude's not going to look good at all, and it's not even going to be his fault. Like the dude is just not prepared because he's never done it before. Like that's an extreme example, but it's just kind of how I look at it, and I just haven't really enjoyed it.
Well, he did play a little bit at Oregon.
I mean, he played, but
Yeah.
that's completely different.
His dad's a coach too, but
Yeah, that's different. That's different than being a play-by-play guy.
right. I know. I'm just saying he does have a little bit of background, but his background's mostly football, and he had been doing until he became the Blazers like studio host. He had been mostly a football. I think he was doing Talking Ducks type shows and Ducks post game shows and stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, that's completely different than play-by-play.
Yeah, I know. I was just
Yeah,
saying, like,
I know.
and then it doesn't help
like,
that they're doing it from a studio. I know the last few home games they've actually had a spot where they're kind of sectioned off, actually watching the game, but yeah, it's got to be tough
That's
too.
not what I said. I never said that Jordan Kent didn't play. I said it's like if you took a 25-year-old guy that had never played basketball before, tossed him to an NBA game, he's not going to do a good job whatsoever because he doesn't have any experience playing basketball. Obviously, it's going to be like a far more drastic difference, but that it was an analogy. I never said Jordan Kent never played basketball. I know he played at the University of Oregon a little bit.
I think you did say that, but I don't think you meant it that way.
No, okay, maybe.
But that's what I heard too. But yeah,
yeah. So, what next? What next? We're at 52 minutes into the stream. We'll make it to an hour.
yeah. Block Boy, we're trying to avoid talking about. Here we are. We're in the stretch of bad games. We had some injury. Thank goodness Damian was okay when he fell pretty hard and hit his shoulder. How devastating would that have been to have 3 big injuries in consecutive games to our 3 best players? But yeah. Do you want to answer Beavis's question?
No. What makes you think I want to answer Beavis's question?
I
don't know. Yeah, just flat out no to that, Beavis.
I mean,
the thing is, I feel like some people in chat who don't know Beavis, like I know Beavis kind of personally now. Like I talk to him a lot, like voice calls and whatnot. I feel like people that don't know him might not realize he's trolling.
I
Because
mean,
people really say things like how he ordered it there.
we can break down like individual players all day. Like I said, I put Melo in that same category as he had some good plays tonight. He had some bad plays. I mean, this isn't going to change with anyone until we start realizing that we need to find a way to do something differently than we're doing, and it's not any of the players' faults, in my opinion. But yeah,
yeah, I do want to talk about Melo. Melo was absolutely amazing tonight. Trade Dame, get that man some help. Block Boy, you happy?
So Blockboy has a bet for you. I don't know if you want to take this or not.
What's the bet?
He wants to bet you that Rocco won't shoot 35% from 3 after the season is over. What his final percentage would be, above or below 35%.
What's the bet?
Blockboy, by the way, did you ever fulfill your end of the bet we had in preseason?
Yeah, this man has to pay up on your guys' bet that he lost, so I ain't taking any bets if he has outstanding bets.
Maybe I missed it, but
yeah, no thanks on that, man. I'm not gonna take a bet with somebody I can't trust would pay up if he lost.
He says he did. I might have missed it, but
Well, what was his end of the bargain on that one again?
Oh, he was supposed to make a post like praising how Blazers Uprise was the best Blazers content or something, and we're me in particular is very smart and all that stuff. Yeah, okay. He says he did it, so I must have missed it.
Yeah, I'm gonna need the receipts on that one. Yeah, see, like I'd take it from like if you erase these 13 games, I'd maybe take it like from this point to the end of the season, he could shoot 35%. We're already starting at an advantage because he's shooting what 30% through 14 games.
Isaac, you know he's not going to do that. Come on, man.
Yeah, that's a dumb request, man. Come on. Isaac, next time we're in a voice call together, I'm gonna expect you to do it though. So we'll see what you got instead.
Good
Rocco
morning.
only shot. It was 31%. Rocco only shot 1 for 5 from 3 tonight. Granted, hey, at least he was 3 for 3 inside the arc. At least he finished some lay-ins. That was nice to see, because he was on an 0 for streak for quite a while.
Let me just say this: People's Mix, don't say another word about rapping.
Or I'll just permanent ban your Kevin Reese account.
Speaking of receipts, yeah, we have the receipts on that too. So.
Yeah. One more word about it, and I will permanent ban your Kevin Reese account, because I shouldn't even allow you to be here. I shouldn't even. If anybody, okay. There is a long history with certain people in this chat, for those of you who are new, certain characters and whatnot, like long-standing history that you would have been had to have been around to know, or maybe in our Discord to know. But we're being far too nice and even letting Kevin Reese post here, to be honest. Shout out Alan the Bum for the $5 donation. He says, "For the boys, appreciate it, man."
Thanks, man. What's up, man?
Yeah.
So next game is Memphis. Actually, next 2 games, right?
Next 2 games. Yeah.
So they.
Right, we're gonna go 1-1 guaranteed.
Wait, I don't know. They might get canceled because Valanciunas has the COVID, and they are all contact tracing from their Philadelphia game last week, and so I'm hoping they can make the trip out here.
I actually want those games to get canceled.
They're playing right now, I guess. I mean, it's not too bad.
I want those 2 games to get canceled for 2 reasons. One, it's less games CJ would have to miss. And I mean, I guess it's 2 less games Nurkic would have to miss, but Nurkic is out for a while anyway, so it's not going to be as big of a difference as, like, CJ. Maybe, CJ being out for 4 games compared to 6, bigger difference. 2, it'd be nice to just take, like, 5 days off from this team. Especially with how injured they are. So, I don't hope for any outbreaks or anything and whatnot, but I wouldn't mind those games being canceled. They're playing
as long as it's not canceled due to the Blazers having issues, they could still practice and stuff, so might be good for them, but I don't know. Yeah, I feel like I don't know what has to change or what has to happen for this team to get out of this funk, and the coaching staff's obviously not going to change anything. They're just going to keep running the same crap out there, and so we're going to be stuck with a talented roster playing games and messing around and getting down to teams we shouldn't get down to, sometimes coming back and winning anyways, sometimes not. And that's just going to be the way it is this year. And we're going to be fighting for a playoff spot instead of fighting for home court advantage like we should be. And I'm just really frustrated about that.
So early in this year. We'll see. Yeah, so, I mean, if we do end up playing Memphis, Ja Morant's back. So...
They're playing right now, so we are for sure.
Yeah, so we'll see. I mean, but if one person tests positive, then more people could test positive, and then it might get canceled. Like, I've seen that. Seems like that's happened this year, so I don't know. I mean, maybe, but yeah. So we'll have that post-game stream if it happens, of course. Yeah. Anyway, West. Yeah, you're not allowed in their people's mix. Come on. Like. Yeah, so we'll have that post-game stream if that game does happen, assuming it does, and hopefully we can recap a Blazers win. Blazers moved to 8-6 tonight, or today. I'm so used to saying tonight, just like I'm so used to saying this summer when we're referencing the off season, but it was more like this November. So yeah, do you want to wrap this stream up, or do you want to talk about anything else? Or yeah, we'll probably just wrap this up. This is little scuff stream. Just, I mean, it was fine. It went fine actually. I didn't lag out or anything. Just my internet was giving me fits, so I couldn't stream on my end. And I did all the graphics and everything for it, and then tried to go live with it, and then it lagged out. So, yeah. So. Hopefully, that's not an issue. It hasn't been an issue at night. It's only been an issue kind of in the middle of the day occasionally, so that shouldn't be something that we'll have to deal with next time. But we do have some early games coming up, so, I mean, if that happens, we'll just stream like this, because this was actually all right. So thank you for tuning in. I don't want to what?
Except for you don't seem very excited about streaming, but...
Oh, today?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I just didn't get good sleep, so I'm like tired, and then that game was just very bleh, and then the internet issues. Yeah. So that was how it is. But I don't know. I still enjoy streaming and whatnot. I just don't have much energy right now, and I don't have much patience for certain things in chat and whatnot.
Well, it's only 4 o'clock, so we have the rest of the day to go chill and forget about the game. And then we, don't play again until Wednesday.
The day to go cry in my pillow about this game. Yay. I hate 12 p.m. tip times. I hate early tips, man. Do you guys like early tips, chat? Like tips at 12 p.m.? I'm not a fan of it.
Bro, you're like almost 25, right? Can't wake up at noon.
No, it's not even about waking up. It's like I can. Like sometimes I literally can't sleep, and I don't sleep all night. Like I've been dealing with them. If we want to go down that route, insomnia's been real rough lately. Eric's gonna make me get all personal on stream on the outro, man. Shit.
Sorry.
But no, it's all good. I'm just giving you crap. But yeah, so I don't know. I don't really enjoy early tips. I enjoy like doing a post game stream at like 10 p.m., 11 p.m. at night. It just feels right. Whereas like 3 p.m. in the afternoon, man, it doesn't feel like I should be doing anything after this. It's like.
Well, that's how the whole bubble was. All our games were early for the most part.
That is true. So, anyway, I will. Westbrook, what does that mean? I don't know. What does that mean? Yeah, I don't know. My mod Westbrook's kind of been on one today. Seems like he's having a good day though, so happy for him. My mic? Oh, well, I guess that means it's time for us to log off. So we will catch you on that stream after the Grizzlies game, assuming it happens. If not, if for some reason it gets canceled, then we will be live on Thursday over on Blazers Uprise Live. That is the plan for this upcoming week. I don't know. I'm not even going to plug anything. I'm probably just going to sign off. We will catch you guys later on this week. Hopefully you have a good rest of your Monday. And until next time, as always, peace out. Go Blazers. Eric has to sign off. Go ahead, Eric.
Oh, yeah. Bye.